This is Rhiannon, the CEO and founder of Rymer Skincare. Welcome, Rhiannon.
Thank you.
Or we can say Rhi for short, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
Most people call me Rhi. I think maybe my parents call me Rhiannon, but everyone just calls me Rhi.
Beautiful. So, can we share with viewers how we met? Do you think we should? Because we have a bit of a history. So we're friends. Not we haven't known each other forever, but we met through a mutual friend and we went to a comedy show together. And it was three girls having fun. And then all of a sudden, I create this app and I get a message from you on Instagram and you're like, hey, I created a zero-waste skincare line and I sent you samples and I'm interested in joining the app. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I think we might be best friends now. This is so cool. I love this. So I love that you created that. And I don't know the story behind how you created it. We're keeping this very organic. So I literally know nothing. But the next thing is you send me your product and I just want to share with everybody. So I get this product in the mail. Drop it. Firstly, I'll block my address, but it comes in a compostable mailer.
Hell yeah.
Because you went all out, and this is the only reason why I get people to mail me stuff is so that I can see how it's packaged. And I don't always share why. I let people think it's because I want the product, but really I just need to see how things are packaged so that I can provide a proper response for the Sustainable Life app analysis. Sure. But it's completely compostable. Not only is it completely compostable, but you can reuse it. So it has a cut here to reuse mailer. Your cute little sticker, and it gets better. So I get this message from her, and then in it is a handwritten note. I'm like, is this a personal letter to me because she just wants to share her love or something like that? So I'm reading it, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not some computer written, this is how to use my product. It's you with your own pen and paper saying, this is the cleanser, this is the face balm, this is how you use it. And if you ever need anything, here's my information. Thank you so much for supporting my brand. Rhi. How cute. I'm sure in the future it'll become a something you type up, which is completely fine. But for those of us who are early adopters and are early customers of your brand, I just want you to know that the personal touch just made my heart sing.
Oh my gosh.
After seeing this. and then you get to the product. So then I get these cute products. I learn how to use it because obviously there's, the instructions. Just like in the olden days, I love this so much. I'm gushing over it. So I've been using these for a couple of weeks, so they've gone through some wear and tear. But so I start off by using your cleanser, and I just I'm not even doing an advertising for you. I swear. I actually love this stuff so much. So first you get them, and they've gone through quite a bit because obviously I've been using it, so it's not this cute. It's not the cute little face it came with.
No. That goes fast.
It goes so fast. So there's a cute little face imprint on both of them, which by the way don't exist anymore because I've been using it. But you open it, and there's the most gorgeous smell that comes from it. And my biggest thing is I do not like fragrances. I only like natural oils. So I'm I gotta really digest all these ingredients. So I'm going through and I'm everything is all natural, and you've sourced it so ethically, and I'm just gushing over it because I also have your application that you submitted onto the platform, so I can see how you're sourcing everything, and I'm this is amazing. And I met her at some comedy show with my friend Nicola. This is so cool. So I smell it and I'm oh, this is so great. I smell this. I'm okay, this is so great. And then I'm allergic to 50 bajillion things. So I have to do skin tests. So I'm kind of worried, and I'm oh, it's natural. Sometimes I'm allergic to natural stuff. I put it on my skin. I do it, no reaction. I wait the next day, I put a little bit more in different areas. no reaction. And I'm like, this is safe to put on my face. So I put it on my face. And let me tell you, this is so amazing. Like,
Oh, and then we're leading up to something different.
So, and I am not doing this as like a commercial for you. Like, she's not paying me to do this, you guys. Like, I actually love this so much. So I'm just going to say, like, full disclosure, like, I'm allergic to almonds. I can't digest them. So when I saw almond oil in your facial cleanser thing, I was really worried. And I was going to be like, maybe I'll talk to my allergist and see. But I've discussed it with my allergist in the past, and they're like, it's really only just an oral allergy.
Right.
It's anaphylactic. So, but he was like, if I were you, like, I'd test it out. So your product was the very first time I ever tested it on my skin. And it's only because it's you that I was like, I think I'm going to give this a go on like different parts of my body. So that's why I wanted to share that, because I actually am like definitely allergic to almonds. But like, I was fine with this. But don't do it if you're allergic to almonds. Talk to your allergist, because I could be a special case that like just happens to not be allergic anymore, and I'm going to get tested in a couple months. But anyways, I started by just like doing little bits off of it. Yeah. And then as I kind of got a bit more experience with it, and I was more comfortable with the fact that I wouldn't have any allergic reactions, I started to use it the way that you originally intended for it to be used. Yeah. And I have to say, like, I love when it's on my face and I scrub, and it like exfoliates, and I'm able to really control all of the areas. Whereas with normal exfoliators, you put it in your hand, you kind of scrub it, you move it around, but you don't feel like you're getting all the spots. But when it's a bar, you can really go into your like T-zone and the parts that bug you and like get rid of it. So that's really, really cool. And another thing like I'll share is, I'll share that after. So then what you do after is you wash your face, and then after you put your balm on, and it's like the yummiest smelling balm ever. Mm-hmm. And like massage it into your hand and then put it on your face, right? Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I love it so much. I've been using your product, I think it's like for like 2 weeks now. Nice. And I've abandoned my other face wash, which is also all natural and all that stuff. But I like moved it into the shower because I'm like, you're not my evening and morning face wash. You've been replaced. Yeah, snap. So it's kind of, my other one is more like a body wash now, to be honest. But I love it. And the smell is so beautiful, and the texture, and it's all natural. And like, I'm honestly like, hand on my heart, not like saying this to like toot your horn or like, make anybody feel like I'm selling it. Like, I really, truly do love this product, because I can feel your love in it. Yeah. And it's just so beautiful. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. And another thing, so I wanted to share this before we like got into the interview. So I started using the product, and I noticed that like when I would shower, like let's say I use it in the morning, and then for some reason I shower during the day. And then at night I would use the product again. I felt that when I showered, especially with the balm on my face, I felt like my pores weren't getting the proper steaming it needed. Right. I started to take the, after I would shower, I would like wash my face with the other face wash or whatever, just to get the balm off. But then after showering, I would do the clay again. Oh yeah. Once the pores have kind of opened. And I found that once the pores have opened and then I did the exfoliation, I felt it really helped my face. So I've seen like a big change just from your product. And I want you to know, like, girl, you're doing something right. Yay! You're doing something right. So, and the fact that I'm not allergic to it, like that also just like, that made me feel so good. So after all that, and literally like, I am not doing this to sell anything, because I truly do like love what you've created. So let's talk about it. Like, I have no idea what the story is. So could you tell all of us like, what where it came from? Like all of it. Like I just remember like you saying going to New Zealand for a little while, or was it Australia?
Australia.
Oh,
So close.
sorry. Yeah, so close. They're next door neighbors. I know you guys don't really like each other though. So going to Australia for a while. I might not be back until like April was like the last message I got from you. Then you come back and then COVID hits.
Yeah.
And then like a little while later, I get this message. So literally have no idea how it all came to be. So could you please share?
Yeah, for sure. So back in the very, very beginning of 2018, I moved from Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland in Australia. I moved over to the West Coast, and I moved to a very small town called Karratha. And Karratha is a 16-hour drive north of Perth. So it's quite isolated up there. And I found that there just wasn't as many choices there when it came to the skincare that I was used to back home in the city. And I sort of just thought, I'm like, I could probably just make my own. Like, how hard could it be? And I remember looking through different recipes, and I tried one, and for the time it was totally fine, like nothing too crazy. And then I sort of like got more interested in it, and then looked for different ingredients and different recipes, and started to blend them all together. And it took quite a while to find this one right now. The clay butter cleanser right now, it took me honestly like this year to figure it out. But yeah, it started with me just thinking that I didn't have enough choice, or I didn't have the choices that I wanted. And I just thought I could probably do it. And yeah, from there, I just got more interested in it. And yeah, now I love it. Absolutely love it.
But like, why a business? Like, how did that come? Like, I get you were creating I'm guessing you created the face balm. Like, you always used the face balm for whatever reason,
Yeah.
because of that. And then obviously I also understand that like the clay, you came up with like the perfect recipe or the ingredients for it this year. But like, how did it go from here are these great products that I love for my skin to like, now I kind of want to turn it into a brand. Where's that story?
So that story is from my very long Canadian visa process. So I applied for PR here in Canada. And while I was going through that PR process, I wasn't allowed to work, but you are allowed to start your own business. And I sort of just figured that I love these products, and, I'm passionate about, trying to reduce my own plastic footprint. I'm like, I'm sure other people are as well. And the more I sort of like asked some friends, some family, the more I just thought, I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could share this with everyone. And while I'm not working right now, it's kind of the perfect time to look into how to start a business. And that's how it happened.
That's awesome. So let's get into like what it is that you create. So obviously, we've shared the two products that you're starting this line off with, which is so exciting. Can you talk to us a little bit about the ingredients that you use in them, and kind of just like share with us, why those ingredients, how you source them, all that fun stuff.
Sure. So right now I'm starting off with two products, a clay butter cleanser and a shea face balm. With the clay butter cleanser, the main like big ingredients in that are the different butters, which is shea butter and cocoa butter, and obviously the clay as well, which I chose to use bentonite clay. The reason why it's a mixture of the bentonite clay, there's also oats in there to help exfoliate, and then the different butters as well. It's to kind of more or less like balance everything out. The butters themselves are obviously super, super moisturizing. And shea butter, it's known to sort of, when you use it on your skin, to almost create like a barrier on your skin to keep the moisture locked in, and to keep your skin hydrated, which is awesome. And so with the clay, the bentonite clay, that's sort of known for like not just exfoliating, but pulling all of the dirt out of your skin, really getting that clean feeling in your skin. And so then with the mixture of the oils, the butters, the clay, the oats, the big theme with Roma skincare that I think of is balance, and everything is there to sort of, if your skin is producing a lot of oil, even the butters in there, they balance that out because the oils that are in there are very similar to your skin. So it sort of sends that signal to your skin to, reduce that oil production a little bit.
Yeah, that's like a common misconception with like a lot of people, is like if you have oily skin, like, oh, you should probably clean it more and it'll like become less oily, or whatever. But actually it a lot of the times it's counter that. It's like when you give it what it needs, which is actually the oil, that's when things start to get balanced. And I didn't know that for like the longest time. And then like I was researching like a bunch of oils to kind of use on the face, not just for like a moisturizer, but also as a cleanser. And like coconut oil as a cleanser. Like, how do you use coconut oil as a cleanser? It's an oil. Like, I just thought that was like the weirdest thing in the world. And then
right?
do more research. It's like, what? Oh, huh? So I think that's what you're essentially saying is like all the ingredients like help with all the various things, and then it brings the balance. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah. And then with the shea face balm, I'm the biggest fan of shea butter. I think it's such an amazing ingredient. It does so many great things for the skin. And so the shea butter, there's also sea buckthorn berry oil in there. There's some blue chamomile oil in there. And the great thing about the shea face balm is that you need only like such a tiny amount, and it just spreads everywhere, and it feels so like luxurious and like very like self-care almost. And it just leaves your skin just feeling just really hydrated and just,
there's kind of like a primer quality to it too, like kind of like how people have in their concealers and such. I think with like the little bit of the yellow tint that's in the oil, it really helps, at least for my skin color. I find it works as like a primer. How do you find it with your skin color? Because we do definitely have different skin colors. Same for you?
Honestly, I haven't really noticed that it does much, like in terms of like for my skin color. It just sort of it feels like it all just sinks in for me. And I think it's more, I used to have with my skin quite like a lot of redness to it. And for me, it feels like it's just calmed that down since using it.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Another thing I noticed with your balm is like, I think it was the second week I was using it, I noticed that my eyelashes were a little bit thicker.
Get
Have you
out.
noticed that? You didn't know?
Yes.
Yeah, my eyelashes
I'm like,
a little bit. I've noticed a little bit more thickness, and it was kind of just like one day I looked in the mirror and I was like,
yes.
I think there's a bit of a change, but I'm not sure. And I don't wear fake lashes or anything like that. So what you're
No.
saying is, this is me with no makeup. That's you with no makeup, right?
Yes. Me with no
It
makeup.
feels so great with like
Yeah.
just having our faces and having us feel beautiful how we are. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
having like quality products like that really help us women to like not need those things anymore, because the more we kind of use those chemicals, the more we then need to have to cover up our natural faces.
Oh, completely.
Right? It's
Yeah.
awful. Okay, so like so now that we know a little bit more about the products, like what about sourcing of the ingredients? How do you go about doing that?
So this has been a huge learning process. Parts of it are a little bit embarrassing, um, but it's a learning process. I didn't realize, I think, when it came to sourcing some of my ingredients, in my head, I'm just like, oh, of course, everyone would have, great packaging. Like, of, they would send it in like those, uh, those like peanuts where dissolvable, totally great, or like cardboard, totally great. And then for some of the products I got, it was just plastic packaging. I was just like, what have I done? Type of thing. And I think that's just like, I see it now as me being extremely naive about it all. But I'm very excited for my next lot of batch of ingredients that I'm on the way to getting. And for that, I've really taken the time to source, especially with the shea butter and the cocoa butter. There's this great brand from Vancouver Island. The name is escaping me right now. Um, but like they do great things with how they source their shea butter and cocoa butter. And then when it comes to the oils as well, looking at trying to get it as close to Vancouver as I can without the plastic packaging, basically trying to keep sourcing my ingredients as close to me as I can. That's been a big learning process, and so it's also made me more excited as well for the next time round.
And how beautiful it is, like the transparency. I think that's why I really appreciate like the 5 factors for sustainable consumption and the self-evaluation. And,
Mm-hmm.
Also Sustainable Life app, like our own kind of input into it too, is when brands see it, I find that like they also start to share like how they want to be better, and then
Yeah,
like how all the amazing stuff they're doing already. And it's like it's so beautiful, especially with like smaller brands like yours, where like your values like speak through it, like the fact
yeah,
that you wanted to create this brand and you had it all thought out, but then here's some things that kind of came about and you were like, oh, I don't
yeah,
want this, so how do I
yeah,
change this? And for you to
yeah,
then change that in how you're doing things, but still obviously honor the quality of the ingredients, and then what you're creating, and then obviously your return on your own investment in like creating the brand, and like what people ultimately have to pay for the brand. And
yeah,
like when we know that information, it makes us say it's worth the $4 extra, or it's worth the $2 extra, because I know that is making sure that the ingredients aren't coming in plastic from like Timbuktu or whatever, or like China.
yeah,
That's probably the real place.
yeah.
But it's like, being sourced in these places. Knowing that information makes us as consumers feel so much more connected to you. And then it
Mm-hmm.
makes us like worry less about like having to research, because then we trust people like you who create.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So cool. I
Yeah.
think that's why I created this app, is because like I love people like you. It's like, tell me everything. um, maybe I'm unique that way. I don't know, but I definitely I love it. So
Love it.
getting into like how people can buy your product. So how can people buy your product?
So people can buy my product online at romaskincare.com. They can also use the special sustainable app discount code,
Yeah, Unsustainable Life
sustainable
app.
10. Yep.
Yeah.
And that'll give everyone 10% off. And if you want as well, always following the Roma _ skincare page on Instagram will help. And also on the Instagram page, it also will give you more information of things that are coming up with Roma skincare, or different tips and tricks for using the products as well.
And do you think it's appropriate for me to ask the question, like, are there other products you're thinking about developing in the future? Or are you just focusing on these two now, building it, growing it, making it beautiful, and then thinking about those steps?
Definitely just focusing on these two for now. I feel like there's so much to learn with trying to start a business. And so I'm really just focusing on these two products, and I'm more thinking about how to make these products even better. Even when it comes to things like the packaging or the labeling. Because I know right now with the labeling for these products, the awesome thing is that all of the labeling, even the shipping labels on the mailers, everything's compostable, which is great. Yes. But I definitely recognize that
I
the
can
label.
peel this off and I can stick it in my compost.
Yeah.
Girl.
But yeah, I definitely acknowledge that the labeling might look quite DIY, homemade, which it is. So still just figuring
I love
through.
it.
You do?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Because the moment it came in the mail, sorry to interrupt you in what you were saying.
You're right.
Like, when the moment it came in the mail, what I was thinking was like, okay, this is really cool. I can peel it off at the very end after I've done using it. Then I can wash it, and I could probably put some like tea or something in this.
Oh,
put
hell
them in
yeah.
the cupboard. So then like I'm not creating waste through packaging. And then maybe I could put some other skincare stuff in here. But I think like, at least for me, what makes more sense is like spices and tea. So.
Oh, for sure. And that's like a big thing about Roma skincare, is that for these tins, my emphasis is for people to reuse them. Yeah. So on the website, there's a section called Roma Ramblings, which is sort of a blog series. And part of that blog series will be the hashtag reuse Roma. And that's where I'll be giving people ideas about how to reuse their tins. And that'll also be on the Instagram page too. And that's something that I would really love to see people doing, is reusing their tins and, you know, using that hashtag reuse Roma, so I can see like all the different ways people are reusing their tins. Because yeah, I think it's great.
Do you feel comfortable like sharing with us like how you kind of became so in love with like the zero waste, like low waste lifestyle? Like I don't feel like we've learned too much about like your upbringing and stuff. Obviously in Australia, a lot of people are a bit more conscious of this stuff, I find. But like, is there anything in particular that you would like to share with us, just so we can connect with you as a founder a bit more?
Honestly, it might sound a bit silly, but a lot of it has to do with David Attenborough.
Love it.
Just watching his documentaries, I'm such a big fan, and sometimes like I would think about like the choices I would make, and I'd be like, oh, would David approve? And also, so like that's part of it. And another part is simply sorry, a bit of a U-turn here. While I was living in Karratha, I had the chance to visit a place called Exmouth, and there you can go snorkeling with whale sharks, and you can go snorkeling with manta rays, and you're just exposed to this whole new underwater world, which is just insane. And I had remembered from that experience a previous experience of going to see the Great Barrier Reef, which was sad because the area that I was in for the Great Barrier Reef, there was no reef. It was just white, all white coral and all of that. And so having this experience on the other side of the country, I was just like, you just want things to stay this way. Like, you know, you want the corals to stay beautiful, and you want the oceans to stay clean and not have this plastic problem, you know? And yeah, it's just this idea of that there's too much plastic, and even just taking the small steps of, you know, thinking about what you spend your money on now. Like, could you spend that money on the same products in a different way, type of thing? So yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. So one more time for all of the folks who are looking to purchase this amazing skincare brand, which I highly encourage you to do because I love it so much. And for all of the reasons, but especially like, look at this cute handwritten note. I think you're gonna have to like handwrite everybody a note now because of,
yeah, no pressure.
compostable mailer that you can cut here to reuse.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously all the rest of the cuteness, and great product and growing, obviously, with all of like the evolutions of it and like the sourcing of ingredients and stuff through this amazing founder. So if you would love to buy this product, obviously go on Sustainable Life app, click on online shopping, find Romer Skincare, and then you'll get a link that says, you know, click here to buy or something like that, and it takes you to your website. Use coupon code sustainable10 and you'll get a 10% discount. And then in addition to that, you can also find them on the Sustainable Life app website under verified brands. And then, yeah, like go browsing. And then hopefully, even if you watch this video, like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, maybe there'll be like tens of products on your website.
Yeah, not just two.
Not just no, but like, what if there are still just two, but you're like rocking those two like no tomorrow? So,
oh yeah.
And if that's the case, like how beautiful, because I don't feel like I'm missing anything from these two.
No.
Yeah, it's so great that way. Thank you so much for your time.
Honestly. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Okay.